Assalamu alaikum, welcome to another installation of Ramadan Reminders. Is that the name for this program? Who knows? Anyway, I often get asked the question about zakah. And I think people ask about zakah during Ramadan because they think that zakah is to be given during Ramadan. Anyway, so they ask me how much is it, what do we give it on, when do we give it, who do we give it to. So in brief, zakah is given on 5 things. 5 if you're Hanbali, 4 if you're everybody else. The 5th thing being honey. So all those honey farmers out there, zakah. Then we have zakah on produce that we might make through farming, cattle that we may have through husbandry, and then we have what's called urud al-tijara. Basically, the items that we purchase to sell. It could be anything. It could be grass, it could be iPhones, it could be stylish glasses. You know you love these glasses, don't you? It could be clothing, anything you purchase without the intent of actually keeping it for yourself and using, then it's called urud al-tijara, the things that we prepare for trade. And then we have the currencies, the things we use for exchange. Now, very briefly, what is a currency? A currency, or al-umla, it has certain characteristics. From the most obvious of them, if you study and look at the history of money, money is the thing that we all want to have, but not because we like to have it. We don't want to wear it. It's not because of the design. It's not because of anything except that we can use it to buy other things. So anything which we collect for that one single purpose essentially is a currency. And those things in the past was primarily gold and silver. But if you look at the history of money, many things have been used for money. In Islam, gold and silver are the basis for currency. So zakah is dependent upon a certain value or amount of gold or amount of silver. But as you can imagine, in other societies throughout history, other things have been used for currency. So at one point in time in Scotland, people used to use iron nails. Shells have been used, feathers in North America by the Native Americans. Whatever, those things you pay zakah on. Primarily gold and silver, and everything which is the value of gold and silver, which would include things like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and so on and so forth. So those things you pay zakah on. When do you pay zakah? Good question. There is a lower limit, what's called the nisab. If you have less than that, you don't pay zakah. But if you have more than that, then you start counting a year from that moment. So if today you have £10 and that's all you have, there's no zakah. If tomorrow you get £4,000, then you start counting from tomorrow. And the next year, the Islamic year, you pay zakah on the total amount of wealth you have for that year. If your money goes below that lower limit throughout the year, then you start counting again from the moment it goes back up the limit. So scenario, you have £4,000 tomorrow. Next month you spend it all, and then 2 days later you get more money back. You start again from when you get the money back. Anyway, so it's one whole year, one Islamic year, from when you have above that limit. If the money you're paying zakah on is money, currencies, then it's 2.5% of what you have at the time of paying zakah. So when the next year comes, the whole year comes, you look at what you have at that date and you pay zakah on all of what you have on that date. If you're paying zakah on urud al-tijara, the items you have purchased to sale, your stock basically, then you pay zakah on the monetary value of that stock. And if it is to do with produce that you farm from the land, then you pay zakah as soon as you harvest, and again you pay zakah on the livestock you have. Anyway, let's not forget honey. So if you have the nisab, you have the minimum amount in Ramadan, then you pay zakah next year Ramadan. But if you have the minimum amount in Dhul Hijjah, then you pay zakah in Dhul Hijjah, and so on and so forth. As for who you give the zakah to, then the fuqara and masakin are the obvious ones, those who are poor. Fuqara are those who are really poor, they don't have what they need to survive. And the miskeen, they are poor, but they have at least half of what they need to live on. You can also give zakah to those who are in debt. And the number of people you can give zakah to are stipulated in the ayah of the Quran. But those who you can't give zakah to are those who already have financial rights over your money. So if there are any family members who you have to look after anyway by the Sharia, they can't also receive your zakah. What is this lower limit? Well, the lower limit, or the nisab, is measured in either gold or silver. Now, some scholars use silver because therefore the lower limit will be cheaper or lower, something about I think 400 or 300 pounds. And some use gold. I prefer the gold limit, and that is 82 or 83 grams of gold, which obviously varies on a day-to-day basis. But I think right now it's about 2,300 something. So if you have 2,300 pounds of monetary wealth, then you have nisab, and anything above that, then you have obviously nisab. Okay, quick test to see if you understood what we said. You received on the 5th of Rajab £1,000,000 in the bank account, so now you have nisab. On the 3rd of Rajab next year, you spent all of it and now you only have £1 in the bank account. And then on the 5th of Rajab you received another £1,000,000. Do you pay zakah on that? Come on, give me the answer. The answer is no, you don't, because there was a moment in time during that year that you didn't have the nisab. So that being the case, there's no zakah in it, unless you're Hanafi. Because the Hanafis do not include those momentary dips in the nisab. Okay, test number 2. You had at the 5th of Rajab £5,000 in your bank account, and you had £5,000 until the 1st of the next year Rajab. So the 5th is when you had it. The 1st of the next year Rajab, all of a sudden someone gave you £1,000,000. So therefore, on the 5th of the next year Rajab, you now have 1,000,000 plus the £5,000 you had from before. How much do you pay zakat on? Do you pay zakat on the full 1,005,000, or do you only pay zakat on the £5,000 because that's the only money you had throughout the year? The answer is you pay zakat on the full amount. Remember, the nisab or the lower limit is only there to indicate when you start counting your year, but what you pay zakat on is all you have at the end of that year. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. Press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell button for notifications. We all know the procedure. Get on with it.